Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about division, divide. um, and this idea again, like what does that mean, right? So we can use this symbol here. That's a division symbol. We can actually also use this symbol. So we can say things like, oh, that is a horrible example. What is 15 divided by 3, right? Or we could also write that using the symbol. It would be like, what's 15 divided by 3? This is the one you kind of see on the keyboard. So that's the one like digitally you'll get to use. We don't, when we're using like online learning, we don't really have this symbol out there. Sometimes you can add it depending on your keyboard, but in most cases, this is the one you will see that shows division. So just keep that in mind. But let's kind of talk about today, like what does division mean? How do we solve it? What do we do? We talked about in previous videos this idea of the inverse operation, right? So knowing, again, if I know how to multiply, I know how to divide. So that's one thing. But here's the case is like, well, what if I don't know the multiplication, right? What if I have something like 6 times 8? Or here, let me rephrase that. What if someone says to me, what if I have, now I kind of gave it away, but whatever, we'll just pretend. What if I had 48 and I was dividing it by 6 and that equals something? And I could be like, oh, well, I know the inverse operation, right? So that means that 6 times something equals 48, but maybe I actually don't know 6 times what equals 48, right? So this is where we can now begin to think about, well, what does division mean? And then how do we solve a problem like this? How do we take a problem like 48 divided by 6 and find its solution? So a couple of things to keep in mind when we're talking about division, talking about this idea of division, we are talking about equal groups. It's just like multiplication. It is very important that we want to try to create equal groups. So that's one thing right there, grouping, and that is the concept. To divide means to partition or cut or put into parts. So you can also already hopefully see that there is a relationship between division and fractions as well. So like we just got done with a fractions unit and it's like, oh, wait, there's a relationship here because we did cut things into parts and that's what we did. We were dividing things. So that's something to kind of put in our hopper and think about. So let's play this out. Let's go ahead and talk about what's a system we can do this. One way is to continue to think about the inverse operation and think about how in multiplication, we often do what is called loops and groups and how we can use that to actually as a division method. And we'll do it in the inverse way, right? Often we say, oh, I'll make loops and I'll put these in the groups and I'll count them. But now we're going to make loops and then we're going to start putting things into groups. Gosh, I hope that made sense. And if not, I wouldn't worry. So 48 divided by 6. Let's play that game. Let's do that one. So 48 divided by 6, right? Or I can write that as 48 divided by 6. Again, this is how you might see it on a digital keyboard or on a computer screen, now that we're in the digital age of learning. And let's think about that in a real life situation. What we're saying here is like, okay, there's 48 kids, right? There's 48 things. And in this case, I'm going to use students. And these 48 students all want to play soccer. And there's going to be 6 teams. Teams does not start with an S. So the question then would be like, oh, well, how many players per team, right? Again, going back to equal groups. We're going to take these 48 students and we're going to divvy or divide or cut them into groups. We're not going to cut the people. Don't do that. That's very bad. Don't do that. But we are going to divide them up into teams. So let's do that. And let's do that using loops and groups. So again, one thing we do know is we have 6 teams. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, would have been nice on one line, but whatever, who cares? My circle is pretty big because I need to keep in mind that now I'm going to take these 48 players and start putting them on teams. So I'm gonna put one here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice I'm doing it equally, one at a time. So one player is going. So that's 6 players so far, but I have 48. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so still not done. Let's keep going. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Oh, I'm so close. Okay. 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So there it is. We actually took these 48 players and we distributed them equally into the teams. Now to figure out my answer, how many are in each team, I'm just going to count how many I got on a team. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, to make sure I'm right, again, it's equal teams. So I would want 8 on every part. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, there's 8 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Right, 8, 8. And because I did put them equally out there, that gives me my answer. So 48 divided by 6 gets me 8. Or 48 divided by 6 is going to give me 8. Cool thing is, if I know 48 divided by 6, then I now know 48 divided by 8. That's going to equal 6, right? Fact family, 48 divided by 8 will equal 6. So this is kind of what we mean by this idea of loops and groups. Let's play with this, an inverse of loops and groups. So let's do another one. I don't know. Let's say we have, I really should have thought of this. Let's say I have the 18 and we're going to divide it into 2 groups. Okay, so 18 divided by 2. Okay, so remember, here's my groups. So I can just make 1, 2 circles. And now we're just going to start putting 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And again, these are equal groups, right? Both of them have the same, I put the same amount in there. So we're going to count. Let's see, that's 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9. Yep, so it's the same. So 18 divided by 2 equals 9. So again, this is how we can use loops and groups to solve. Let's just do one more real quick. And let's say we have 24, and I'm going to divide that by 4. Okay, so again, here's my group. So I need 4. And it is good to make good size circles because you never know what you're going to be putting in there. So I wouldn't make tiny little ones for sure. And now let's just start counting. Let's start putting out our 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, whoa, 14, 15, 16, 17. Sorry. Did I do that right? 18, 19, 20. Oh, I think I'm off now. Look, I made a mistake and look how that threw me off. So I'm actually going to go back and fix that because that was definitely a mistake. So let's see, go back to my counting. And this is going to happen, right? This is real math and it's happening. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So you can see like this is maybe not the most efficient strategy because counting them out like this can be confusing, but I got there. I got to 24 and they're all the same. One thing I want you to note is I do this on purpose. Like as I group them, I try to group them in ways that might be easier for me to count. So as you notice, I kind of did like groups of 3 across the top and I'm almost building arrays in here so that I can count them quicker, right? You can see it's going to be a lot easier for me to count these because I can just say, oh, 3, 6, right? 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. Cool. So 24 divided by 4. So 24 cut into 4 equal groups means I get 6 into each group. So 24 divided by 4 equals 6, or 24 divided by 4 equals 6, or 24 divided by 6 equals 4, or 24 divided by 6 equals 4, or super inverse if I want, 4 times 6 equals 24, right? Or 6 times 4 equals 24. So again, this is that cool thing about understanding the relationship between multiplication and division. If I can solve one of them, I actually know them all. If I take 24 and divide it by 4 and I get 6, I now know all these other facts. I know that 24 divided by 6 equals 4. I know 4 times 6 equals 24. I know 6 times 4 equals 24, and so on. So this is a really great strategy, this idea of using your loops and groups. And we will continue to look at this and practice the strategy. But for now, it's a great way. Again, right? If I don't know how to multiply to get there, cool. I'm going to draw my circles and I'm going to partition or cut or divide or distribute. These are all words that mean to give out one at a time into my circles till I get to the big number I'm trying to divide up, right? The dividend, we'll get to vocabulary. And I will end up with my answer. How many are in each of the equal groups? So as always, thanks for your hard work. And, as I've said, and I will continue to say, if you can multiply, you can divide. So keep that in mind. And when that doesn't work for you, try this other strategy.